In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to add students into InnerOrbit so they can take NGSS and three-dimensional assessments. First, you'll go to your assessments page. Once you've created an assessment, you'll click Assign. From there, you can either create rosters manually or import them from Google. If your school or you use Google Classroom, I strongly recommend this option. In a few clicks, all of your students will be imported and they can sign in with Google Single Sign-On immediately. If you don't use Google Classroom, click on Create New Roster. Follow the prompts to name your roster, select a grade level, and a term. Once your roster is created, you'll be given an add code. This link gives students the ability to add themselves into your classroom. You'll share this with your students to add themselves into your Period 1 roster. It will say, enter your add code, which is pre-populated through that link. The Period 1 is taught by Finch, that's me. If your school uses Google or Google Classroom, that means that students have a Google email address, then click on My School Uses Google Classroom, and they'll be able to log in with Google. If your school does not have Google email addresses for students, they'll click on My School Does Not Use Google Classroom. Boom. If they're new students, they'll create a new account. If they already have InnerOrbit accounts from another teacher, then they'll say, I already have an account, and they'll log in. If they're brand new students, then they'll click I'm a new student. They'll complete this form. Their email, first name, last name, and username will all be entered. When we created our rosters, we automatically set a password for all students. This password was Noodle. If you want, you can go back in and set the ability for students to change or choose their own password. In the second window after you get your add code, you can give all students the same password, which we strongly recommend to make sure they don't have any issues logging in, or they can create their own passwords, which students can create for maximum security. After you're done, you can create another roster, or you can add students by pasting names and email addresses. If you have a CSV or a spreadsheet of your students' names and email addresses, you can upload those by clicking here. To log in, students will go to our homepage. On the homepage, they'll click Log In the top right-hand corner. Once your students are in your roster, they've used the add code, or you've synced with Google Classroom, you do not need to have students click sign up. They already have accounts, they need to log in. If your students have Google email addresses or you synced with Google Classroom, they'll sign in with Google. Otherwise, they'll enter the school ID that's at the top right of your teacher account, the username, and the password. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about InnerOrbit or you need help with any of the things that we just went over, reach out anytime. My email address is brendan@innerorbit.com. Take care.